Welcome to the latest devlog of my game Cloud Storage. Cloud Storage is a turn-based settlement building game where you have to harvest the moisture contained in the clouds. At the end of my last devlog, was the current state of the game. And so much has happened recently, so it's about time I made a little update on it. This looks great. I'm really pleased with the way it looks. Unfortunately, it comes bundled up with quite a few headaches, if I'm honest. I was looking at ways to upgrade the buildings. At the minute, we just have to place the tiles that get delivered to us by an algorithm. But I was exploring the ways in which you can then put groups of the same tile together to then merge them all together to upgrade that facility. I thought this was a really nice idea. The problem is the isometric view. There's no way around it. And when you come to build things behind, I try to sort of phase them out a bit, or ghost them slightly so you can see behind and start placing tiles behind buildings in the foreground. But it wasn't quite working, and it caused so many difficulties. So I'm now opting not to go down the route of an isometric view. But I still like the concept of placing the same tiles together to upgrade that building. And so I went on the hunt. I went hunting for a game that incorporated this idea, and I came across Triple Town. Triple Town is quite new to me, although it's quite an old game, I think. I'm so not with it sometimes. But yeah, I have played a lot of Triple Town, and I mean a lot of Triple Town. So basically it first generates a random map looking from the top down, and you have to put three of a kind next to one another to be able to upgrade your buildings, and eventually your town then scales up. It's a really good game and a really clever game. Simple but very effective. And it got to the point where I'd close my eyes and see these bears in front of me. I have played it such a lot. So I set about designing my own sort of Triple Town game. The Triple Town concept will act as a good foundation for cloud base, for cloud storage, and then build up from there, really. This isn't going to go to waste, don't get me wrong. I like the idea of just packaging this up into sort of a nice, relaxing settlement building game. I really like the idea. So if I polish it up, remove the meter bars and everything, yeah, I'd quite like it just to be a standalone, just a nice, relaxing, build your own city sort of affair. So that's sort of gone off on a tangent, and that's going to become its own separate little project in its own right. So how do I start building the same game, but from a top-down view with the mechanics of a Triple Town game? Well, the first is to develop the random generation of the landscape. And I went through the whole game, mapping out, drawing out in my notebook the tiles that I would need. And I can't remember offhand how many they were, but there were quite a few. I think it was about 18 and 19 in total. And then I worked out the logic needed to apply to them to be able to lay them out in the grid system again, and not have them all disjointed. I had to work out how they could be placed together in a logical way. And this was the result. After a lot of hard work, I managed to get the random landscape generating. So the sandy coloured bits are intended where you can build on, and the dark bits are where you can't. So if you keep refreshing, it keeps generating a convincing random landscape each time, and I'm really pleased to see that there are no more disconnected or disjointed bits like odd corners appearing out of nowhere and so on and so forth. So I'm really pleased with that. It took a lot of hard work to do. The code is incredibly messy, but it's working. It's working, and for me anyway, that's a huge step forward and a really good foundation in which to build on. I then looked at the various different buildings in Tripletown and charted and mapped their relationship to one another. So the grass here, 3 of those would give you a bush, 3 bushes would give you a tree, that sort of thing. And then I looked at how I arranged the buildings or created this hierarchy of settlements in version 2 of my cloud storage game and try to map those to the buildings in Tripletown. And from then on, again, it was just a case of writing down the rules, and my notebook is full of sort of like a pseudocode-esque sort of plan of action to follow. And again, hours were spent trying to work it out. And as you can see here, I've got basic tiles going through just to test the concept of how things will work. The difficult bit was 3 of a kind would get to three of a kind would allow you to upgrade your facilities. But if you, on the off chance you got 4 of a kind, then you can see here I've got tile 2B, so that would enhance that level 2 building just a little bit more in acknowledgement of the fact that you got 4 in a row and not the minimum 3. And this is okay. I had trouble with the moving tile. So in Tripletown, this would be the bear. So you can't place things on a moving target, basically. So yeah, it took a lot of hard work. I still don't think it's right as you sort of progress through and scale up. It just doesn't quite work very well, but we're getting there. We are getting there. So from here, once I had everything working, I then started thinking about the artwork. And I really like this sort of black outline as we did before, but I think I would appreciate a bit more detail in all the different buildings here, rather than have sort of like IKEA-esque sort of plasticky feel. Although this is lovely, don't get me wrong, but I think I'd appreciate a bit more detail to make it more eye-catching. So this is what it currently looks like now. As you can see, I've got my tile system working. I have the random landscape working, and it's been tidied up. So to be honest, I've just basically bolded the outlines. Once I've got a working model, it's easy to then sort of polish it and make it look a bit more presentable. And I think I've got the 3 of a kinds working. So here we go. Here you just saw me get 3 of a kind, and I upgraded to a 2-story building facility. And then if I accidentally get 4 of a kind, it then upgrades me to a 2-story one, but it's a different color. So I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do with that yet. I have added other features. So if I place one here, I can see we can launch blimps to be able to harvest moisture in the clouds. And as you can see, I've started now to develop a weather system. Very, very basic at this point, where the clouds just fade in and out. But if you were to place a block while that cloud is there, it greatly enhances your amount of water that you're harvesting. So the clouds, although they're great to capture the moisture, they will actually govern or affect where you place tiles. So the idea is that this space here, we can I want to start banking and storing up the water or moisture that you collect. And then from then on, we can use it to trade and again upgrade your facilities. But I also want to look at how neighbouring settlements in this make-believe world we've created, how neighbouring settlements can come in and start wreaking havoc or trying to harvest the clouds above your settlements. Maybe we could create a facility or a factory that builds air defences or something, so we can fly drones in the air to capture clouds instead. And that's where I am at the minute. I'm sort of sketching again, big fan of sketching in the old notebook, sketching again, and developing. I want to develop this weather system a bit more and looking at the implications of not collecting enough water in a certain amount of time, but also what happens when we've got an excess of collected water. What could we do with that as well, which is really exciting, if I'm honest. I love the way it's coming on. I'm amazed at how things can be greatly enhanced just by a thick black outline, if I'm honest. Yeah, I really like the way it's coming on. I'm sorry to say goodbye to V2, but like I said, that is not going to go to waste. That is going to be a separate little mini game in its own right, and I'll be pushing that across the finishing line later on, no doubt. Anyway, I hope you like what you've seen. Thanks for following the development of this game. I am learning a great deal, and it's certainly a lot of fun. But anyway, have fun, take care, and I'll see you on the next update of Cloud Storage.